Vitankita, decorated. Yagyu, they went. Translation by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. The disciples of Lord Shiva arranged for Sati to be seated on the back of a bull and gave her the bird which was her pet. They bore a lotus flower, a mirror, and all such paraphernalia for her enjoyment and covered her with a great canopy, followed by a singing party with drums, concerts, and bagus, eagles. The entire procession was as pompous as a royal parade. Verse number 6. Avaram घोषर्जिता याज्ञवैश्वसं विपर्षिजुस्तं विदुषैश्च सर्वस वृद्धार्वाय काञ्चनदर्भकार्पविर्पृष्टाभाण्डं जयानम् from Savi. A. From all sides. Brahma Ghosha with the sounds of the Vedic hymns. Ujita decorated. Yagya sacrifice. Vaisasam destruction of animals. Viprasi Justam attended by great stages. Viduvi with demigods. Chaw and Sarvasa on all sides. Mrit clay. Daru wood. Aya iron. Kanchana gold. Darbha pushagrass. Karmavi skins. Charmavi, sorry, skins. Nistra made of bhandam, sacrificial animals and pots. Yagyam, nam, yayagnam, sacrifice. Samavisa entered. Translation by His Vijay. She then reached her father's house where the sacrifice was being held and entered the arena where everyone was chanting the Vedic hymns. The great sages, Brahmana and demigods were all assembled there, and there were many sacrificial animals, as well as pots made of clay, stone, gold, grass, and skin, which were all requisite for the sacrifice. Purport for Prabhupada and Gazesi Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. When learned sages and Brahmanas assembled to chant Vedic mantras, some of them also engaged in arguing about the conclusion of the scriptures. Thus, some of the sages and Brahmanas were arguing, and some of them were chanting the Vedic mantras to the entire atmosphere was surcharged with transcendental sound vibration. The transcendental sound vibration has been simplified in the transcendental vibration Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. In this age, no one is expected to be highly educated in the Vedic ways of understanding because people are very slow, lazy, and unfortunate. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya has recommended the sound vibration, Hare Krishna, and in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32, it is also recommended Yagni Sankirtana Praya Yachanti Hisumedasa. At the present moment, it is impossible to gather sacrificial necessities because of the poverty of the population and their lack of knowledge in the Vedic mantras. Therefore, from this age, it is recommended that people gather together and chant the Hare Krishna mantra to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is accompanied by his devotees. Indirectly, this indicates Lord Chaitanya, who is accompanied by his associates, Nityananda, Advaita, and others. That is the process of performing yajna in this age. Another significant point in this verse is that there are animals for sacrifice. That these animals were meant for sacrifice doesn't mean that they were meant to be killed. The great sages and realized souls assembled here, performing yajna and other realizations, was tested by animals sacrifice, just as in modern science, tests are made on animals to determine the effectiveness of a particular medicine. The Brahmanas entrusted with the performance yajna were very realized souls, and to test the realization, an old animal was offered in the fire and rejuvenated. That was the test of a Vedic mantra. The animals gathered were not meant to be killed and eaten. The real purpose of sacrifice is to not place slaughterhouses, but to test a Vedic mantra by giving an animal new life. Animals are used to test power of Vedic mantras, not for meat. अज्ञानं तिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानं जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मृतमीन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयंरूपयदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागररघुनाथामृतं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सागरललिता श्रीविशाखाभितश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पति गोपेश गोपिकांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावन श्री विश्वानंद देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय पंचकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिंधु पतितानां पावने वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे विराचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने भगवत सूत्रनाथ thank you so much for joining this wonderful Sangha on Monday. And here in these two verses, there is an explanation of the placement or the positioning of Mother Sati in the sacrificial arena, which was organized by his father, and where Mother Sati, who holds a very special place in the lineage of Prajapati Daksh, is seated in a higher position in the back of the bull, and at the time uh, she was also given a pet, which is actually the bird, Mother Sati's, and there are description of the surroundings and the kind of paraphernalia which was around the sacrificial arena, which was very pompous and is actually glittering with radiating light, and covered with nice canopies, as you see during the Rath Yatras. We have the yatra going on with a big canopy, followed by a singing party with drums, gongs, and bugles. The entire procession was as pompous as a royal parade. So here there is references, and in that reference there are articles and paraphernalia which makes the event pompous, and which makes Mother Sati's position a very authoritative in the sense that she is the daughter of Daksha, but more importantly, she is very popular among the disciples of Lord Shiva, because she is the spiritual mother in a way. And because of that, she was given a very nice position. So, in here, there are one or two things we can really discuss. Is whenever we have festivals, the kind of decoration and opulence which we should bring to the table is indicative of some of these very powerful verses, and how we should keep a very famous or a very senior Vaishnava in a requisite position, in the sense that he or she who having come from sadhana, the years and years of practice through the lineage, they hold a special place in our temple or in our community, and how in an arena where there are festivals and things like that, how we should make an attempt to give respect to some of our senior Vaishnavas is indicative of how the sati was treated in the sacrificial arena, and how beautifully the sacrificial arena was decorated. And to take that one step further, then there is references to the chanting of different kinds of Vedic mantras. And when spiritual scientists meet, they always talk about, this path is superior, that path is superior, the third path is superior. But behind the scene, nobody truly understands that the fundamental of any of these paths is to go back to Godhead so that he can serve the servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme. So what that means is the bottom line is happens to be a prayer which essentially a disciple calls out with with awe and reverence, so that he or she is engaged in pure devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God. That's essentially is the purpose of the Mahamantra. And here there are references to two things by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada essentially is saying, whatever be the situation, whatever be the auspicious situation, the presence of the the Mahamantra or the topmost mantra of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, actually connects us to the Supreme, and through the connection, we seek the Supreme Personality of Godhead to extend some service we can give to the Supreme from whom we have come from. And in that way, we derive that sense of bliss. So, whatever be our path, beginning of this verse, you hear that the Brahmanas are saying, my path of Jnana yoga is superior. Somebody is saying Karma yoga is superior. Somebody is saying Dhyana yoga is superior. Somebody is saying Ashtanga yoga is superior. But but behind the scene, if you do, and even if you end up doing any of this yoga, and at the end you do not derive that element of servitorship to the Supreme, then there is no benefit of having such uh, bombastic words in our armory in saying that Jnana is superior because I know everything, or Karma is superior because I do everything, or Ashtanga Yoga is the top because of Ashtanga Yoga you can do a lot of your asanas and you can move air between your body at your will. But that air is different from the the real life uh, air of our body, which is at the lotus feet of the Supreme. And when the lotus feet of the Supreme is served by our prayers to serve Him, we aspire and we call out to Mother Radharani. That's what the meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is we call out to Srimati Radharani to engage us. We are very fallen, but to engage us in their devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His greatest devotee, in this case, Srimati Radharani, and many such devotees. Essentially, the purpose of the Mahamantra is to call out with full conviction, with full utterance that, Lord, you are mine and no one else is yours, so that I can come and serve you from the bottom of my heart, and I can also serve your disciples and your servitorship as well. So, this feeling of servitorship is so nicely explained in the first paragraph of the sixth verse. The second thing, really, is very important is the importance of sacrifice. What is sacrifice? Sacrifice is anything you try to give it up, which you had earned with your hard work and respect. That which you earned in hard work and respect, you are giving it to someone else. That itself is a big leap, actually. That activity of getting something and donating it to somebody else for your needs is actually the real essence of this charitable contribution. Because when you think about charitable contribution, say for example, you're making X dollars an hour and you're giving to the temple $10,000 in year. But if you divide $10,000 by X dollars an hour, and that leads to say, you know, say 100 hours, you're giving $10,000 and you make $100 an hour. That is essentially 100 hours. So indirectly, when you end up donating $10,000 to the temple, you're not just donating $10,000 to the temple, but you are basically giving your 10,000, sorry, 100 hours, which is equivalent to $10,000 for the benefit of the temple. So you apply your karma to gain love for Godhead. You're applying your karma, you're doing your work to gain love for Godhead through the process of seeking and asking Srimati Radharani to give the fallen souls like us an opportunity to serve you, as you all are doing by trying to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam on a very early morning in the week, the beginning of Monday. So that is the first part of the purport by Srila Prabhupada. Second part of Srila Prabhupada says that whenever there is an animal testing for the purpose of medicine function, there are good quality animals which are tested to be available for cure of so many things, with so many modern medicinal methods resort to, samples taken from animals. Good, bad aside, that's a different discussion. But the point here is when that is used, you pick the best animals, and from there you run the test to pick and make the best medicine for the ailment you're trying to solve. Likewise, when the rishis of those times and the Brahmins of those times were trying to do animal sacrifice, they were not doing animal sacrifice on any animal. They have been serving, they understand the constitutions, and they pick the animal which has given the best of the service and is up in the chain to go back to Godhead. And by virtue of their sacrificing during the sacrificial arena in this example, they eventually go back to Godhead by offering them in sacrifice. So the eventual aspect of engaging them in devotional service by sacrificing them should be thought not for consumption. As today's sacrifice you hear in many of these Kali temples, many of these Durga temples, is the sacrifice is done, but the intent is to, quench uh, your hunger for meat by eating it. In those days, the sacrifices are not meant for personal consumption. It is essentially meant for the Supreme Personality of God, which God misconstrued over the years. And over the years, people started saying that once it is, offered to the Lord, it becomes a remnant or a prasad, and we have all the rights on the Lord's prasad. And if an animal is given, and what is the remnant? The remnant is the meat or whatever. And so you try to justify that, which is not exactly what the Vedic injunction is all about. It's all about trying to rock someone who is ready to go up the down route and an acceleration or a catalyst so that they can really go up in the chain, which is exactly what this animal sacrifice part is being described so beautifully in this verse. And there are also references to the situation. Ghosha, there is a word which is used in this verse called Brahma Ghosha. Ghosha means announcement. You're doing Ghoshana, you're doing announcement. Uh, Lord Jagannath's cart is known as Nandi Ghosha, and also Rath Yatra is also known as Ghosha Yatra. And Ghosha means Lord Jagannath, the Lord of the universe, Krishna himself, when he is going out to that village, that he himself is making an announcement that he is coming with his, siblings, supreme siblings, into the. So when this Vedic hymns are going on, when this Brahma Ghosha or the announcement that Lord is coming of the sacrifice, in this case, sacrifice is about to begin, or in our example, in our similar example, Lord Jagannath is going through the process of the Pahandi, where he's announcing with the Vedic hymns, he's announcing that he is about to go out. Nowhere the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the presiding deity of the temple, goes out except Lord Jagannath. In this case, the 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 sample or the deity uh, may be different in the context, but from very conceptual perspective, it is Lord Jagannath when he goes out, he's the only God who is in the sanctum of the premises, whether as a representative of him, someone other structure or object of devotion goes up. In that case, there is an announcement, and that announcement is very significant to understand for all the Vaishnavas that when Lord of the universe goes out, and that's why his name of the chariot is Nandi Ghosh. The message is going with an announcement, and here, if you see. in the sixth verse, the Ghosha is is explained that whenever Mother Sati is going and seeing the arena and the yajna is about to start, there are a lot of announcements which are there, like we do in our various different segments, during Rath Yatra or different events, where there is an announcement that Lord is coming for Abhishek, so just be in line. Similarly, you can give a partnership, so you can come in a line. So there is an announcement. So lots indications, lots announcements are very significant. And when Lord comes out, he comes with his own style, with his own way of moving. Everybody has his unique style, even a small personality and a small Hollywood or Bollywood actor and the supreme actor of the whole world. He has amazing personality like the Tribhanga form of Krishna or Choka form of Lord Jagannath, where he's sitting like a Choka posture, or Tribhangi form of Shamsundar, or the Kirtan with the two arms raised form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there is personalities, and when these personalities come out, they announce. And when the announcement happens, there is this huge arena which kind of breaks up with a lot of people talking about the beauty of the deity in procession, and the beauty of the canopy. And here there is also a reference of canopy, which is indicative of a huge chariot. And also, there are all kinds of objects and nice paintings, which are essentially on wood or clay, and very beautifully decorated in the arena of the Daksha Prajapati. And that's how Mother Sati is seeing that a huge event is about to unfold in her own eyes, in front of her. And that is the explanation. And there is also, as we discussed, that aspect of sacrifice. And that sacrifice is for the liberation, or rather the transmigration of the personality who is already in the onset, in the um, promotion to go back to Godhead. And that's how in those days the cows, or goats, or whoever are given as sacrifice, are often they need extra care. Like the example which Prabhupada is giving, that when an animal is chosen for a test by any of the biotech firms, they generally get the best on which the tests are done, not with any rats or whatever with disease and all, because in order for them to really detect and grow that medication strand or whatever, they have to be healthy, and that is exactly how Lord is explaining, or rather, there is this explanation that anything which is done as a sacrifice to the Lord is meant for His pleasure, and also the subject's pleasure as well, and the object's pleasure. Both Lord is getting pleased with the sacrifice, and the sacrificial element is also getting liberated. And so both, but so it's basically for both of their benefit, not for somebody, some third person's benefit, where they end up consuming it, or you know, doing whatever with the meat or whatever. So it's a very nice set of two verses, which gives us a good idea about the setting Mother Sati is subjected to, where Lord is being announced, and he comes into the arena. I mean, Lord's activities in this case. I'm just giving an example of Ghosha, because this word Ghosha, or nothing but Ghoshana, or announcement, is a lot. And most of these announcements are very profound in any of our festivals, which are moving in nature. When there's a lot of moving parts in a festival, and you're going outside our property, or somewhere else and all that. So there is an element of announcement which most of the Rath Yatras are subjected to, and this big announcement, because there are a lot of coordination. If the announcements are not clear, the directions are not clear, things go off, people are walking this side, people are walking this side, there's no coherence, and we don't come in as a strong unit. So these are some of the things which Mother Sati is seeing, and there is this announcement that Lord is coming, and beautifully he's being, his activities are being performed in the sacrificial arena, and Mother Sati is so happy that to see the activity unfold in front of him with this beauty and with this nice wooden things, the gold and ornamental surroundings, the canopies, the skins, and so beautiful, elegant activities going around. So, a lot to ponder around this verse in terms of how we should take the sacrifice, not having doubts about animal sacrifice. It's not for our consumption that after sacrificing an animal, you end up eating it or whatever. That's not what it is all about. And secondly, there is this form of splendor and pomp and show in land decoration and Lord's activities. There are announcement in the form of kirtan, and the best kirtan is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, where he is calling out to the Lord to engage you in devotional service. So a lot of mixed messages from this verse. One being how we should take animal sacrifice. The second is how we should uh, see the festivities in the form of announcements, and then also there are references to Mother Sati being a very prominent person as a disciple, and the disciples of Lord Shiva is giving her a very prominent position so that she can, see the grandeur of the sacrifice unfold in her eyes after a few moments. So with that, I'd like to end here my today's discussion. If you have any question or comments, we can discuss. Otherwise, we can end here. We're at the top of the hour at close to 7. So thank you so much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada teacher, Hare Krishna. So if there is there any questions or comments? Otherwise, we can end here. So let's offer our prayers today. Jai Narasimha, 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 Jai Jai Sri Sri Prahlade, Jai Padma, Padma, Ugram Viram, Mahavishnu, Jagantam, Sarvatam, Pavishingam, Snavadravitravitram.
नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद
Narasimhadev Bhagwan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. And also, let's offer our obeisance to the lotus feet of all Vaishnavas by saying one chakra for the Vaishnava. Vipassing the way of Chakra, Titanam Bhavani, Vaishnava, Vaishnava, Mantra, Shri Bhagavatam, Future. Very good.
Hare. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone.